Welcome to the Beyond Physio Podcast, where we help you move, excel, and inspire others on your journey to your next level with knowledge and advice from experts and testimonials from our like-minded community. Cazzie, thank you so much for coming on our show. I really want to share your story with all of our families out there and our audience across New Jersey and North Carolina and beyond, because you are a high-level athlete. And we have a lot of parents in the audience where they have very high-level high school athletes, maybe even youth athletes, and they're looking forward to having their kids go play D1, maybe D2 at the college level. Hearing your journey through your ACL injury and how you've recovered from that under our care, that's something I think is going to be very powerful for people out there wondering where they should send their kids. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Let's talk about your journey. You were a Division I soccer player.
Yes.
Tell us how that came to be.
Yeah, so ever since I was younger, I was pretty much just an athlete playing a bunch of sports. But early on, I knew that soccer was the sport that I wanted to play. And having an older brother that was a competitive athlete also definitely helped build that competitive fire. So very early on, I got into high-level teams with soccer and trained with my dad all the time. My dad was my coach a lot, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so we went to the field all the time and spent a lot of time bonding over that. But yeah, ever since I was young, I knew that soccer is what I wanted to do, and it was my dream to go play professionally, and it still is. And going to school, picking a school was definitely a hard time just because I felt like a lot of people around me were committing very early, and that recruiting process seemed to be rushed for some, and some people were taking their time. But for me, I waited a little bit longer, and it wasn't until later in my junior year that I committed to Campbell University. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, and thank you. We ended up doing super well. I was grateful enough to become a starter right away there and played every minute of every game, and we ended up winning Big South Championship our first year and continued to just be like a powerhouse team in our conference. Yeah, I was super grateful for that experience, and then I had a COVID year that I decided to transfer to Missouri State just to see if I could challenge myself a little away from home and be at a bigger school in a different conference. And I really enjoyed it and felt like I found my role well in the team. But unfortunately, that's later on in that season, that's when I ended up tearing my ACL. But I think throughout my college experience, I really learned what hard work means and also the balance between being a student and an athlete. But I really wouldn't trade all those years for the world. They were awesome.
That's a great story. So starter from day one.
Yeah.
Had a great career at Campbell, went to Missouri State. Tell us what happened when you got your ACL tear. Do you know exactly what happened?
Yeah, so what happened was I went into the game and I went into a tackle with a girl, and her knee hit the side of my knee exactly at a point where I felt it right away. I heard and felt a pop, and you just hear these horror stories about ACL tears, and you know immediately. At least I just felt like I knew it right when I hit the floor that something was wrong. And when my trainer came out on the field, I was just hysterical because I had dreams and aspirations to be playing pro within the next few months. And so I was definitely devastated in that moment of being just so confused at why me, why did this happen? I felt like I had a sense of understanding that, okay, this had to happen for a reason, and there's going to be a lot that I learned from this. And so it was definitely a whirlwind of emotion in that one moment, but yes, like you said, I just knew right away.
That's amazing. And it's funny to be able to have that pause and to think about this being as a reason, there's a reason behind why this happened and what you learned through this. I think takes a lot of mental fortitude, because I don't think most athletes, at least the ones I've met, have had that same, okay, I'm going to learn something from this.
Yeah.
So I think your perspective on this whole ACL experience definitely sets you apart from other athletes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So tell us about, now that you had the ACL tear, you got surgery done. Was it done in North Carolina?
In Missouri.
In Missouri.
Back
okay.
in Missouri, yeah.
Got it. What kind of graft did they do?
They did. They gave me options, but I chose the patellar tendon just because I heard that was the gold standard to return back for sport for some.
Not for nothing. I'm going to share a little story. Back in my day, 20 years ago, patellar tendons were the thing for as far as grafts went. And then it transitioned very quickly over to hamstring. And I
Okay.
was okay, that's the thing. And now it seems to have gone back to patella tendon grafts because
Yeah.
that's what I'm seeing more and more now as well.
Yeah, and I've
So
heard
it's
quad
interesting.
grafts too. I have teammates
Yeah.
that have done quad grafts, but
Yeah.
then they're like, but now I have hamstring issues. It just, there's so many different, I don't know, routes
Definitely.
around it, I
It's
guess.
very interesting. The
Yeah.
good thing is that there are many options. I can't say one way or another because there's always an issue with either. So if you have a hamstring graft, a lot of our athletes ended up with some sort of hamstring tendinopathy.
Mm.
If you had the patella tendon graft, that was the other issue. You had a patella tendon issue
Yes,
happening.
yes.
So you have to be very careful in how you graded the overload or progress athletes through the strength program because you could easily give them a tendinopathy from lifting heavier weights as they went through their program.
Mm.
It sounds like you were able to avoid all that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've heard horror stories about, and just in soccer, a lot of people that tear their ACL, unfortunately. And so I've been speaking with a lot of people that have been going through that, who have gone through that process. And a lot of them who got my graft actually said that around this time and a little earlier, they started to get tendonitis in their knee. And so I'm so grateful that I haven't felt
Yeah,
any sort of pain like that. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm really getting back to my old self. And I'm only on month 6. So
that's amazing.
yeah,
Now, Cazzie, it's funny because when you got the ACL tear and you had the surgery in Missouri, you had to do PT at home for a little bit.
I did.
Tell me
Yeah.
what that was like and why that happened even.
Yeah, as I was moving home from school, I had no PT or no athletic trainer because I was graduating in December.
Oh,
I was on my own for about a month and I was doing some of the workouts that I had been doing with my athletic trainer at school. But then I later on realized that some of those exercises weren't exactly maybe the right things that I should have been doing for that time span.
yeah.
And I had to just look up and do some research on what looked the best for ACL recovery. And thankfully, I found Next Level as I was doing my research with what place I could go to do my recovery. And I just was astounded by all the comments, the positive testimonies that people had. And yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
And of course, your testimony as well. So thank you
yes,
for
for
that.
sure. Yeah.
So now you had mentioned that you had tried other therapies before. What do you want to share with parents and athletes out there that made Next Level stand out when you did your search?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So when I did my search, I wanted to find a place that was mainly for athletes to return to sport because there is a lot of PT areas in the Cary, Raleigh, Durham area. But I really wanted to find one that was going to align with my goals, which is still to play professionally. And so based off of the research I did with Next Level and read all the comments and from parents, all the 5-star ratings, I felt, okay, this seems like a great place. Let me go check it out. And once I got in and to meet Dr. Megan, I remember she had this whole whiteboard out and she said, all right, let's talk about everything. And so we wrote down everything that, was going on and what my goals were and what my timeline was. And for the first time, I felt like not alone in the process because I was like, wow, okay, she knows what she's doing and she has this great plan for me. And I remember her asking, okay, I know you said you were looking at other PTs. Like, do you want to just call us back or would you want to get started today? I was like, I'm getting started today.
That's
I was like, let's go right now because I feel like I have a lot of faith in you and in this company. Yeah, that was pretty much my journey to finding you guys.
That's great, Cazzie. And it's funny because when I have clients on our podcast, the first thing to talk about is the whiteboard.
Yeah.
The whiteboard session, I was like, that just blew my mind. And for anyone out there who hasn't been through our system or our process, we have a whiteboard session where we talk about everything about you. We want to find out everything you've tried, everything from your sleep, your nutrition, to your stress level, because all of these different things really can make or break your rehab. And if you don't have those factors under your control, or if we don't figure out what some of the root causes might be as to why you're having an issue in the first place, we might be missing the boat. And so we want to really be super comprehensive about finding out all the little itty bitty details from your youth, high school, college, whatever you played, the things that you do, so that we can make sure that we don't miss out on anything that might be causing or contributing to an issue that you have. Obviously, in Cazzie, your case, you had an ACL tear.
Yeah.
So that was easy. But the whiteboard session is something that people often talk about.
Yeah.
That being said, Dr. Megan is amazing. And one of the things I love about her is that she's super comprehensive. And she also had an ACL tear.
Yep.
So there's a lot of empathy there.
Yep.
So when you can walk someone through the process that you went through yourself as a clinician, it's a very powerful experience for our patients, and yourself included there. Now, it sounds like you felt like you were also very heard, which is great.
Yes.
And as I recall, looking at Dr. Megan's plan for you, and when you and I worked together for a little bit, everything was really geared towards you getting back to playing soccer, but also making sure that you had the strength plan to do.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So from the beginning, Dr. Megan told me that this is what we need to do, and you just got to trust the process, because I felt like I was taking steps backwards from where I was, but I realized that I was missing so much range of motion. I was still swelling. I was not where I guess I needed to be in order to grow and get to where I needed to be. And so it was definitely eye-opening to see, okay, wow, there's actually more that I need to do. And she's seeing things that are wrong that are going to prevent me from getting to where I want to go. So it was really insightful for her to be able to give me that picture and give me that sense of, all right, this is what we got to do. And so, yeah, right now in month 6, I actually just started training again with my summer league team, the NC Courage. Yeah. And it's been incredible. It's been just fulfilling to put the cleats back on and see how far we've come. And the timeline still is by the end of July. I'm hoping to be cleared fully. So hopefully that's still the plan. But everything that me and Megan have gone through, as well as you, with you stepping in to help me out, I think it's just been par for the course. Like, we've just been doing everything that needs to be done and really listening to my body and making adjustments when needed.
Definitely. Let's talk again about your range of motion there. So when you came in, there was still swelling in there. It had already been out a couple weeks or so.
I was probably about a little over a month out. Yeah.
That's crazy. And so walking around didn't feel great either then.
No, I thought it was normal to not feel good. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, Cazzie, because and this goes out to our audience over 40 in particular, because sometimes we feel that it's okay to be in pain.
Yeah.
It's just normal as a part of getting older. Maybe after an ACL tear, you expect some pain, but 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out, we're not expecting that. And we're certainly not expecting seeing a lot of swelling in there or loss of range of motion. In that first week or two, we are hell-bent on making sure that your extension is past 0, just because if we don't get that back, then bad things happen and activate your quad the way you need it to in soccer. And that becomes a real big issue later on. Yeah. I'm glad we tackled that quickly.
Yes, I agree.
I think when that first week you came in, right?
Yes, that was the biggest thing, because I really thought I was killing it. Like, when I walked in, I was doing box jumps, which I should not have even been doing until like month 4.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and she said, our extension, like, we got some work to do. And I was like, oh, okay. Not what I expected, but I needed it. Yeah, I really needed it.
How important do you think it is? You've had physical therapy in the past. How important is it to find the right physical therapy for a high-level athlete like yourself?
Oh, it is so important. That's why I really did take my time to find somebody that I knew I could trust, because when you're returning from an injury, I think the natural inclination for all athletes, no matter your age, is to try to get back as soon as possible. But you need that person to rein you in and say, listen, like, if you do that, then you might get hurt in another way, or you might re-hurt the thing that you came here for. So I just respected Megan from the beginning and just what you guys were about, because I knew that I was going to be pushed to a healthy limit every day. And being an athlete, you always think that you just need to work harder and harder, but sometimes there's days where you need to take some steps backwards. And one of those times, I had wisdom tooth removal during my ACL recovery. I did, which I didn't realize at the time it was going to prevent like a lot of the healing that was still going on, because I think I got that done in month 2 of ACL recovery. So I don't know what I was thinking, but when I went into Megan, I remember there was like a moment where I felt like just not a lot of pain, or I felt a lot of pain in my knee. And we come to realize that it was just scar tissue that was breaking up. And so 2 weeks later, I was back to where I needed to be. But it was a great moment for me to see that how important it is to really listen to your body, and how Megan was able to adapt and adjust my plan based on where I was at was just really comforting. And she made me feel like I wasn't behind. She made me feel like I was on time with everything. And I really do feel like finding a PT that is aligned with your goals as an athlete or as a parent with an athlete, I think that is very important. And I think I just from the beginning felt heard by you guys. So yeah,
that's awesome. And I would say that a lot of any of our offices, whether you're in New Jersey or North Carolina, it's often a common testimony that we hear from our clients where we just feel like, number one, not only were we heard, but you're going to cater the treatment and the plan of care and the program towards where I wanted to go.
Exactly.
Whereas, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but a lot of places out there is very cookie cutter, and it's I'll put a hot pack, cold pack on you, do some e-stim, and then you're off in the corner of the room doing exercise on your own, which is it's really sad, unfortunately. And it's not the PT's fault per se, because that's just the model of care that they're working in, where it's 3 patients an hour, 4 patients an hour, sometimes even 5. And it's a terrible way to help someone get to their goals. And this is a big reason why we find that traditional PT keeps our athletes in pain.
Yeah.
Because they actually don't, number one, address the root cause because they don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
And number two, because they're doing a very cookie cutter approach, everyone gets the same exercise, the same reps and everything like that. Granted, we might use some of the same exercise for our athletes that do for other people, but it's going to be tweaked differently because of what your goals are versus what someone else's goals are.
Yeah.
But if you're out there and you're still wondering, can PT be any different? I would beg you to consider other options for yourself, especially if you're not getting the kind of results you need to get where you want to go, because it sucks to be losing time from doing what you love to do. And thankfully, Cazzie, I think you got lucky that you found us.
Yeah, 100%.
Personally, imagine if it were like 2 or 3 months before you even got the knee extension back. I don't think we'd be having this conversation right now. It
Yeah.
could be a very sad story of what could have been.
Exactly.
Instead of where I'm heading to.
Exactly. No, yeah, it's really awesome just to see where I was at and where I am now.
Yeah.
And just to add with, I also had a couple of years ago, it was when I was entering into my senior year of high school, I had ankle surgery. And just going off of what you said about finding the right PT, I remember I went to a PT that wasn't sports specific, and I still have ankle issues to this day, which I talk with Megan about. And we've actually done ankle stuff along with my ACL
very
recovery.
nice.
So
Yeah.
it's been really cool to feel like I'm covered on that end as well. And I don't wear an ankle brace anymore.
Oh,
And I've always worn an ankle brace.
way.
So yeah, I'm
Wait.
serious. Yeah. So I just felt like I had to chime in with that just because it really does make a difference between finding a PT that aligns with your goals or if it's just a cookie cutter one that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm so glad you mentioned the ankle, because there are a lot of places out there where they'll only treat the one body part. We have always been, for as long as it's been in practice, a very whole person approach. We got to address everything that is connected to where you want to get to. Because if I just take care of it, great, but then you still got this ankle that's
Yeah.
you're gimping around on.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to not address that. And yes, it might take a little more time on our end during our treatment sessions to address both. But for me, if we can't address the whole athlete, then we're doing that a disservice. So I'm glad that Dr. Megan, I knew she would probably pick it up too. Take care of your ankle as well.
Thank you.
Now, talking about the struggle of athletes, and I've worked with many, I've been injured as an athlete and even as an older athlete. What are some of the mind shifts that have helped you push through those moments of doubt and even maybe now continue helping you to progress to where you want to get to?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing when I first got injured was just the sense of identity of me always being an athlete and not realizing that, wait, I am a little more than an athlete. I'm not just a person that can kick a soccer ball. So I think that's one of the biggest things through the ACL recovery that I learned is that my body is more than just something that like does things for me. It's like this vessel that I've been blessed with that I need to take good care of. So I think that just having that healthier perspective of how my body is for me, not against me, I think that definitely helped me in my ACL recovery so far. But I would also say from a mindset shift, I realized early on that you really do just have to be positive as you can during the process, because you can sit and feel victimized or feel why me and be really discouraged. Like leave room for those emotions because you don't want to just act like everything's okay. But there does come a time where you have to pick it up and choose to move forward. And I was grateful enough to have a great community of people and family members and friends that surrounded me that made picking it all up and moving forward definitely a lot easier. But yeah, I think just going back to that identity piece, I think just realizing that you're more than just an athlete, especially when you feel like your worth is tied into your minutes on the field or the abilities of your body or the stats that you get on the field. I think that it just has given me so much clarity on there's so much more to life, and it's made me actually enjoy soccer more and love it more. And so I think if I had to give any sort of advice to anybody, it would just be to really accept that you're more than just an athlete, and that yes, you have great gifts and skills, but that's not everything about you. So yeah, I think that those things really have helped me so far.
You make me pause for a second because I think a lot of our adults out there have to hear that too.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of runners, triathletes, people who do CrossFit, golfers, and a lot of their identity is tied to what they do. And whether we use that as you get older, using it for your mental health, to stay sane throughout the day, I think we sometimes lose ourselves when we or lose sight of ourselves when we do get injured because we tie our identity with that community of people. Like the running community is massive as in North Carolina.
Yeah, yeah.
So now you can't run with your friends. Now you're by yourself, or now you can't deal with the stress that you have on a day-to-day basis because of that injury.
Yeah.
And that does cause a lot of people to go through a downward spiral, sometimes not so great things and other kinds of, unfortunately, abuses happen. But to your point, yes, you are a runner. You are a CrossFitter and what have you, but you're also so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I think that if we can step back and just like you, Cazzie, will use as an example, to take a step back and look at this from a different perspective and saying that maybe there is something, there's a reason why I've been injured. I can learn from this. Maybe I have been pushing it too hard because of what am I trying to run away from as a runner? That's causing me to want to keep running and not stop.
Yeah.
I think those are the things that when we're injured, we can identify if we take a pause and see that you're right. I am not just a runner. I am a fill in the blank. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
As far as getting back into not only playing soccer, but now looking into the horizon as far as going into this pursuit of being a pro, walk us through that. Like, what's the next step for you?
Yeah.
How do you want to get to that point?
Yeah, so before I tore my ACL, I was on the search for agents because if you want to play professionally, you need to find an agent that can help network with other people and other teams. And so that was the first thing I needed to do was find a good agent. And once I found somebody that I wanted to work with, I sent them my highlight reel of all the clips from college that I felt best represented me as a player. And he felt very excited about the opportunity to work with me.
Wow.
And then when I tore my ACL, I had a lot of fear of, is he going to still want to work with me? Is he just going to look for another athlete? But thankfully, this person, he's still willing to work with me and is waiting for me until I'm ready to take that step. But the way it works is the agent will be the one who's the middleman between you and these clubs and teams. And for me specifically, it's my dream to play overseas and play in any country, honestly. I have obviously some like Portugal, Spain, and Sweden are my top three. Right? Yeah. I would love to play in any of those countries, but honestly, like I'm very open to any country just because I feel like it would be an incredible experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, my agent would work as the middleman between me and those teams, and he would be the one to word of mouth, put my name out there and put my video out there and get me connected with the team. And usually what happens is there'd be a trial, which is also known as a tryout, pretty much, to see how you align with the team. And if they feel you're a good fit, then you can sign a contract. And some contracts are 6 months, some are a year, some go longer than that. But yeah, it's definitely something that's becoming more popular in the women's soccer community, which is really cool to see. But yeah, so the next step for me is just obviously getting healthy and getting back to that playing shape that I was in prior to tearing my ACL.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a very exciting unknown in the future what's to happen, but I'm trusting that everything will happen the way it needs to. So yeah.
That's amazing, Cazzie. Now, why those three countries, Spain, Portugal, or Sweden?
Yeah, so Sweden, because my last name is Swedish. So biasly, I feel like that would be a full circle moment.
My mother country.
Yeah, exactly. Even though I don't know a lick of Swedish, I think it would be still cool. And then Portugal, I have one of my old teammates that I know that she's been really enjoying her time in Portugal. She's been playing professionally there, and and she's been really enjoying it. So that is just a little biased just because I've seen what she's been doing and how much she's enjoyed it. So I'd love to do that. And then Spain, I just have always known as Spain having some really competitive high-level teams. Yeah. And along with all of those countries that I listed, those are all probably some of the top places that you could play professionally, minus England or France. But yeah, those are just some of the places where I feel like they have the most beautiful environment surrounding them and a great community of people that love the game of soccer. So
that's awesome. So why Europe and overseas versus...
Yeah, so I have always dreamt of going to play soccer elsewhere because I would love to just see what soccer is like in another country compared to the US, because I do believe that they're played very differently. I think in the US it's less tactical and more so based on athleticism, and I feel like I've always been a very tactical, technical
Yeah.
player. I do feel that I have the athleticism needed, but
Yeah.
I would love to just experience what it would be like in another country that is more technical and tactical based, having high soccer IQ and all
Yeah.
that, because that's honestly where soccer originated. So I just love to go back. And to be completely honest, it is difficult in the US to play professionally unless you've played at a Power 5 or if you've been invited to US national team camps and all of that. And I was at 2 mid-major schools, which makes it a little more difficult, even despite the good stats that I have. But yeah, I think in the long term, after I play professionally in the States, I'd love, or in the other countries, I'd love to come back and try and play in the States. Yeah, after I get some experience. Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe a segue
Yes,
back
exactly.
into the States, but also a great experience for you to be on your own. You're done with college, so it'd be a good time of your life to actually get out there and experience the world. Too.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. So Cazzie, now for any maybe parents or athletes out there, whether they're in college or high school, what's some advice you want to give to those parents for their kids if they are going through something like an ACL injury
Yeah.
and have to get back into playing sports? How would you guide those parents and athletes?
I think for the parents, it's definitely a very difficult situation. So I feel for you, first off. But I think just allowing your child to feel heard and feel that there's no pressure for them to return to sport if that's not something that they want to do, leaving room for them to really feel everything that they have going on. But I would also say to be that helpful nudge in a way of allowing them to see that they are capable of more than what they think, because any injury that you come back from, especially ACL, you are definitely going to run into some roadblocks and it's not going to be smooth sailing all the time. But if they have that support and that extra nudge where you can implement that confidence within them, then I think that would be super, super helpful to them. And I know we've talked a lot about identity. So I think that just reminding yourself, if you're the athlete or a parent, that is not who they are. It's just something that they have been gifted and that they have the skills to do. So just reminding yourself or your child that they are more than just an athlete, I would say.
Like that.
Yeah.
Very good advice there. Now, as we have 4 offices, we have 2 in New Jersey, 2 now in North Carolina, and our mission is no matter what area we're in, we want to have the greatest impact on the families that we serve in those respective areas. For any athlete or parent who might be unsure if Next Level Physio will be the choice for them or for their kids, how would you encourage them to consider us as an option?
Yeah, my advice would just be to go in and meet you guys, because I think the second that I met Megan and the second that you stepped in to take care of me when Megan was out, I think I just felt like I was so cared for and that you guys are here for me. Like, you guys are genuinely wanting the best for me. And it just makes you feel like you're not in it alone. And so I would just say, go in and meet Jerry and meet Megan and meet the staff, because everyone's so welcoming and so kind. And I think that the second that you go, or the second that you read these testimonies of people, you'll understand that they're telling the truth. This is really how Next Level Physio works. And yeah, and I'm just super grateful that I found you guys when I did, and that I'll get to credit you guys with when I get to play professionally. Yeah.
We get the honor of saying we knew Cazzie when.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. So now, if people want to follow you, Cazzie, because you're on this journey now, and it'll be amazing to see and hear back from you that you made the pro team and overseas.
Yeah.
How can they follow you, and how can we support your goals?
Yeah, I have an Instagram. It's CAZZINORGREN. But yeah, I've been trying to post a little bit about like the journey, and I'm in the process right now of making a video actually on like how each month has been going. So yeah, I'd love to share that just so people know what the process looks like and that they're not alone in it, and they're going to get through it, because in the end, every day that goes by is growth. So
Yes, definitely. if you don't make it to the pros, I can tell you'd be an amazing coach.
Thank
I know you're
you.
coaching the young kids right now,
Yes.
but it would be amazing to see you as a coach one day on the field
Thank
too.
you. I appreciate that. That is something I would definitely feel like consider. So I'm doing that right now, and it's been awesome to see a different perspective of it and just see the joy that the kids have, the innocent passion that they have is so beautiful.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
Cazzie, thank you so much again for carving out time for us on this Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
We really wish you the best, and we're just blessed and grateful to be walking alongside of you in this journey and seeing you come out the other end, a very strong, confident player in person. So thanks
Thank
again.
you. Thank you so much, Jerry. I'm so happy I got to talk to you guys about this.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. It really does mean a lot to us. And don't forget to share, subscribe, or comment if you got at least one or two helpful insights or takeaways to help you get to your next level.